Welcome everyone to the third podcast for the Red Cartel. My name's Will, and of course I've always got Leon with me as part of the Red Cartel. Today we're going to be having a quick chat about some interesting transfers that have come up, and then we're going to go through our predictions for the season. So we're going to go through our top 8, kind of who's going to qualify for Europe. Going to go through our bottom 3 who think maybe are going to get relegated, and then going to go through some things like overachievers and underachievers, and player of the seasons, breakout stars of the season, and also some other parts that we think might be interesting. So, Leon, mate, how have you been? How's the week been for you?
Been okay, been decent from a personal standpoint, but from a footballing standpoint, kind of bad, I suppose, because of I'm sure we'll get into those things, and we were talking before, but Zubimendi rejecting Liverpool isn't a great look. That's what I'll leave it at that. Isn't a great look.
It's a strange one, because you would have thought at this point it went so far, and obviously there was a lot of interest from other clubs like last season, beginning of this season in the Prem, but that kind of fell away, and then it was just really Liverpool in the chase. You would have thought that Liverpool would have been given the green light by the player, and that's why they were pushing through. So I wonder whether it was maybe a late change of heart by the player, or maybe pressure from his club.
Well, what I read, and again I only read 1 or 2 articles, it's not something you can trust 100%, because I don't know. If Fabrizio Romano had said it, maybe I'd trust it 100% or close to, but basically deal was done, release fee met, contract was discussed and offered, and he actually rejected to stay at Real Sociedad, not anything else.
Okay, so it was it's a surprising one though, because you would have thought it had got so far that Liverpool would have had an agreement in place with the player already, and it would just been a case of activating that release clause so they can kind of moving forward. Maybe there was something around the release clause that Liverpool maybe didn't want to have to pay everything up front, and they were negotiating that side. But
I don't know. You never know, do you? Who actually rejected who, or who did what exactly? And agents of the players and of the player isn't going to come out and say, well, Liverpool rejected us at the last minute because of X, Y, Z. They're going to say we didn't want to go. So I don't know what to believe. All I know is it's not a good look, especially for Liverpool.
Yeah, there's another breaking today was that Liverpool were looking at the is it the Georgian keeper that plays for Valencia?
Mamadashvili. Yeah, we've been interested in him in a little while. During the Euros, I heard rumours that we might be interested in him because of Caoimhín Kelleher potentially wanting to leave for first team football, and this guy has apparently, again, I reread it again, that he might be okay with the progression that Liverpool have described to him, obviously because we've got Alisson.
Yeah, it's definitely seeing as maybe someone in a couple of years' time that can embed into Liverpool, maybe go out on loan into another Prem club, get that experience, and then come back and start fighting for that number 1 spot. Because I mean, Alisson's he's not old, is he? Is he just hitting his 30s? So quite young.
I think he's 30 still. I think he's 32.
Okay, so relatively still young. So maybe Liverpool are planning for the future with that one.
Yeah, because Mamadashvili I think is 23.
He is 23. Yeah.
Yeah, so normally goalies, not always, but they start in their mid to late 20s, don't they? Like 25, 26, 27. And then they go to 35, sometimes more, but 35. So their 8 to 10 year career spike is 25 to 35, whereas a normal player or a normal outfield player is 16 now, isn't it? 15, 16 to 30. And then as you get over 30, even though nowadays it's going further, generally your peak is before that or at 30, depending on where you play, I suppose.
And at that age, you're thinking, especially if you're at the top of in a top league, you're thinking about, you're hitting your 30s as a normal player. where can I go? Can I get some money from Saudi? You know, is a big club, but in maybe a lesser league like Italy or France. Can a PSG buy me? But yeah, definitely with goalkeepers, you're looking at that kind of 25, 26 when you're really establishing yourself as that number one for a club, to then really push on for the next 5 to 10 years. But well,
Yeah.
it's as a Liverpool fan, is it a bit worrying the lack of activity, the lack of purchases for Liverpool?
Not really. Like, technically speaking, we don't really need to actually sign anyone because we did most of the rebuilding signing last season. From a fan's perspective of like impatience and like, oh, I want new players, yeah, but realistically, we don't really need anyone. You always want someone, and you could always sort of do with signing somebody to freshen the place up, make sure you got an extra bit of quality, you know. But we finished third last season with a team that I think we had like the third or fourth most injuries again, and we've got almost too many players in every position, although some of them might be quite young and or not good enough, or we don't know. So, example of this is in midfield, people would say, "Oh, you need a defensive midfielder," but it depends on if we know that we're definitely playing two defensive midfielders, or one and a sort of 6'8", or are we playing no defensive midfielders and they need to do a different job? I don't know 100% with Arne Slot what he's going to 100% do, but we've got Bajcetic, who's young and really good. We've got McAllister, who's mid-20s, 26, 25 to 6, and really good. We've got Endo, who is like backup, really, but played a lot last season because of these things I'm going through. Then we've also got Tyler Morton and Curtis Jones. So we've actually got 5 sort of defensive / central midfielders that can play that role. Now, could it be argued that Zubamendi, a actual designated, that's just his role 6, could that benefit Liverpool? Yeah, probably. Like, it probably would have improved our squad. And so, if there's improvements to be had out there, we should get them. And I don't want to get left behind because, we've spent like half as much as Man United over the last 10 years, and we've been much more successful than them.
Yeah, it's that. Was it Klopp getting the most out of a team, or was it that team was performing to where it should be performing? That's the question. I think that's the question you get answered this season, especially if there's no more signings. But I would imagine there's going to be, over the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a flurry of signings. And Arsenal need to sign some more players. Definitely, maybe if we're going to be getting rid of Nketiah, Reece Nelson. We've already got rid of Smith Rowe. There's definitely space in our squad for another attacker. Liverpool the same. They need to build that midfield, because who would be starting in midfield for Liverpool? Obviously, you've got McAllister and Endo. Would Endo be starting in the current format and the current makeup of your team?
I don't know, because from everything I've looked at, Arne Slot likes a player more similar to McAllister than Endo for defensive midfield. And so people who are similar to McAllister are people like Curtis Jones. So my like the starting 11 I think he'll go for, or at least in midfield, I think will be McAllister, Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai. That'll be, so Szoboszlai is a 10.
Szoboszlai, yeah, of course, I forgot about him.
So we'll have them to, and then we'll have Harvey Elliott to rotate in. We'll have Bajcetic to rotate in. We'll have Endo to rotate in. We'll have, I'm forgetting a midfielder here. I can't remember. There's one more midfielder that's a well-respected Premier League player, and I can't remember his name. But we've basically got like 6 to 10 midfielders to fit those 3 spots.
Yeah, so you think they've got? I mean, if there is, if you're not going to like bring in someone from midfield, is there any position that you think? Oh, I'd really quite like someone to be brought in for that position.
Centre back.
Centre back, someone to take the pressure off Van Dijk, or someone to complement him.
Someone to make sure that we don't have to play Kanate every single game because he's really good, but he just gets injured a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
someone to at least, because we've got Joe Gomez, who's like a Swiss Army knife of plays left back, right back, and centre back, which is great. But again, in the same way that I said about the midfield, the way we're going to improve is by getting like specific players for specific jobs now. It's like we need a ball playing centre back. I'm not saying that Liverpool do, but just if we did, go get one of them. We need a destroyer in midfield. Go get one of them. Oh, we don't
Yeah.
need a destroyer. We need someone who runs a lot. Go get one of them. Like that sort of mentality. And I just think that FSG are a bit penny pinching, a little bit. But also, you can't argue with the results. So I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not too frustrated, but I do want to see some signings, at least some manoeuvrability that we're trying to improve before the season starts. That's all it shows to me. We're trying to get better than we were last season before the season starts. Whereas if we don't sign anyone, we can only get better by playing games.
Yeah. Yeah. It all kind of depends. I think that will shape a lot of people's transfer window at the end. Is kind of how those first couple of games go for the team.
And we've got the easiest start to the Premier League out of everyone. So like we should be like after 10 games, if we're not top, we're probably not going to be in the title hunt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I think. I know Arsenal got quite reasonably challenging first kind of 10 games, only because we're playing a lot of the bigger sides, but away from home. So
Yeah, we got United.
Yeah, we got United's. We got Tottenham away. I think as well. I think we play Man City within that first 10 games as well. So,
Well, funnily enough, we
but
probably could and should do some form of comparison. Maybe in the next pod or something like that, we could do a comparison of the opening 10 fixtures of the title challengers: City, Liverpool, Arsenal.
yeah, definitely. That's something. Yeah. If you're listening, guys, if you want to hear about our comparisons, let us know, and we'll put something together for the
Yeah,
next pod.
pop it in the comments.
Yeah, of course. You can't have a very quick chat about transfers without talking about Chelsea. Breaking news today was that they are, the president of Napoli is over in London. I would imagine mainly talking about the Lukaku move, but also talking about Osimhen as well. That could be great. I think we talked about it previously. I'm always a bit worried, like not worried, but I'm always a bit unsure how players, especially forwards from the Italian leagues, will fare in the Premier League. But there've been successes. Salah for one of them, a massive success.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that Osimhen will just be an expensive flop, and then Chelsea will be spending the next 3 seasons loaning him out, trying to get to someone to buy him again, aka Lukaku. But
Probably.
yeah, also a bit comical around the Conor Gallagher saga. Feel pretty sorry for the guy. Loves Chelsea, wants to stay at Chelsea. Kind of feel like he's been forced out, and then when he finds a club, Chelsea pull the rug out from that to maybe try and make him a make way into another deal.
It's not a good look again, isn't it? Like I said, it's a worse look than the Zubimendi thing for Liverpool. It's like that's a bad look, not just for around the world other players coming into Chelsea, but current players in Chelsea. So everyone's going to be thinking, do I want to be stuck in that situation like that?
Yeah,
If
well,
that's
they've
one of
got a
their
lot of
own,
players like that. They're going to have a lot
they
of
do
players
have a
like
lot
that.
of players. Yeah, they do. Um,
Yeah.
but so how do I describe this with an analogy? It would be like I might, if I don't know, if you really liked burgers and I was like buying loads of burgers, but they're all smart price burgers, I'm not the king of the burgers, am I?
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
Chelsea have done. Like,
What they
literally,
bought very kind of second tier players,
yeah,
rather than, and got lots of them. They've gone for quantity over quality, right? And
I
they
agree. Yeah, they have. But that isn't what they need. They don't need more young players. Chelsea are not the team that need more young players. That's not what they need.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, Osman might be a bit of a game changer for them. I mean, I still cannot quite get my head around a team spending so much money on transfers over the last 2 seasons and still not buying like a marquee forward or striker and
Well,
trying
they
to.
tried.
Well, who did they bring in?
They tried. They bought that Nkunku, didn't they? And were like, he's the man. He's the guy. And then he got injured for like the entire year.
Yeah, yeah. It just allows Chelsea fans to keep saying that he's world class, and he hasn't played for like 2 seasons, so
I know,
it's
and it's really annoying because I really hope that this isn't true. But I watched him when he was in Germany, and he is
yeah,
really,
very
really.
good in Germany.
Again, we talked about this. Me and you have talked about this at length outside of the pod, for sure. But it's so all I can say is if he roughly scored half to 2/3 of the goals that Harry Kane scored last season, and we applied 1-to-1 mathematics, and Harry Kane usually scores 25 Premier League goals a season, it means he's a 17 to 22 goals a season striker plus assists. That's what he is. Playing wide.
Yeah, I'm still unsure. I've seen him a few times playing for Chelsea in the Premier League. I know he's obviously had a big layoff and he's coming back, but I just can't see the world class tag. But maybe that's just because you know Chelsea fans on social media will say everyone's world class that's playing for Chelsea.
Do they rate that other guy then world class? The other one that they bought, the other striker who like literally can't finish.
What, Nicholas Jackson?
Yeah, him.
I don't think so. I don't. I think they're well aware of Nicholas
Yeah, they
Jackson
can't at
basically
this
being a
point.
meme.
Yeah. If you bought the Colombian Ian Dowie, you can't be saying he's like world class.
I
Like,
think that's
mate,
being harsh on Ian Dowie. Honestly, I think at least Ian Dowie was good at one thing, and
yeah,
that was
being
being a
ugly.
brute and headering.
Yeah,
Right?
being real ugly.
Yes. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never seen anyone celebrate getting penalties because of him playing for Saints and Matt Letizia being their penalty taker than Ian Dowie. Ian Dowie celebrated like, well, he's kind of mild mannered, so he celebrated in the same way that like Alan Shearer or Harry Kane celebrate, which is weird, sort of like stunted, like they don't actually celebrate, but like that, celebrating like yes, we've got a penalty because you just know it's a goal.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're giving. He probably had an assist bonus, mate, and he was like, "Yeah, got that assist. That's perfect."
But yeah, what other transfers have been going on around the world or around the Premier League? Like, I mean, we haven't talked about it, but like, there's been a few moves at West Ham, a few moves at Tottenham.
Yeah, I see the cat kicker is heading off. Kurt Zuma. He
Yeah,
looks like
good.
he's off to a UAE club. Um,
Where they let you
Shabab
kick cats.
Al Ahly.
Yeah,
But but I think West Ham have done well in the transfer window. I think they've brought in some good players.
I think they have very
So
much so. I think
definitely
they've
think
got
that's something. And of course we had the Man United, finally deciding that they can't rely on Johnny Evans anymore, and
yeah,
bringing in De Ligt and also the Moroccan right back, which I don't want to say his name. I'll butcher his name. But
Mazraoui.
Mazraoui. So I think that's a really good signing. I mean, I don't know whether they needed a right back. I think Dallo actually is actually a really good player, and I enjoyed watching him in the Euros playing for Portugal. I thought he's a very good right back. I don't know whether they needed a right back. Definitely think they needed a left back.
Yeah.
Luke
Oh, maybe
Shaw
they did
again is
right
injured.
back. So they sold Wan-Bissaka, so maybe they're like replacing him.
Yes, they did sell Wan-Bissaka, and again we were talking about the craziness that Chelsea have created because Wan-Bissaka signed a 7-year deal at West Ham, which is
Insane.
unreal.
Yeah, insane. Doesn't make any sense. It's just the way the world's going, isn't it? Sign them up for massive amounts of money, massive time.
But apart from that, I mean, there hasn't been any real kind of standouts for me. I do think De Ligt will really improve Man United's team. Stop them being so open. Whether he will be able to cope with how open their midfield will be, and how much he's going to have to deal with in terms of the attacks, but definitely something that I think will massively improve United, and I think will make them into well, as I'll show in my predictions. I think they'll definitely cement their top 4 place with that signing.
I couldn't disagree more, but I personally, I think that De Ligt is an amazing defender. I agree with that. And I think he's got the capabilities to do that. But I think Man United is a deeply troubled and poisoned club from within, and they're trying to fix it. But it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in one summer and one transfer window where they go, right, let's change all the people who are in charge. And now we've got the idea. And unless they're really lucky, which you might be right, they might have lucked out with a bit of skill, of course, because they had to pick the players and play them and stuff. But
Yeah.
I just think Ten Hag, not in the top. I mean, for the purposes of the internet, he's the best manager I've ever seen. 10-year deal, get him in. But as a Liverpool fan, I would say that. Whereas I think he's not in the top 10 managers in the Premier League. He's not good enough. Then they've not been anywhere near good enough. They fluked trophies, and their improvements have been in the right areas because they do need a better midfield and a better defence. But I don't know, lest we forget, didn't they have Varane as their other centre-back?
They did, yeah. He was...
Wasn't he Real Madrid and France's, best defender for ages?
Yeah, I think injuries got him in the end. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if anyone could muck up De Ligt, United,
It's them.
It's like, oh, we've got a great international class defender. He can never be bad. Man United is like, hold my beer, I've got him.
Yeah,
No.
I've got you. Don't worry. I'm going to mess this one up for you. Yeah, they're like that. They are literally like, you go to Man United to end your career right now. Sancho Jadon Sancho is amazing. He is an amazing player. Yet he can't play at Man United. He's better than any of their forwards. Any of them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a massive... I don't think he's that good. I think he had a couple of good seasons in Germany and then came to the Premier League, and it was a bit of a shock. Also, but you're completely right because the bar is so low in that forward. But take out Garnacho, and then he's he faced up against Anthony and...
This is the problem.
A poor Rashford.
We talked about this the other day, about when you're not very good, and as Arsenal and Liverpool fans, we've both been in that lull where Man United are. You think players who are your best players are the players of old. Like Garnacho's oh my God, this is Paul Scholes coming through. Look at him, he's amazing. This is David Beckham. Wow, look at him. It's not. This is John Joe Shelby.
Wow.
That's where you are. That's who he is.
Yeah, no, I know all about that, mate. I mean, I thought Guendouzi was going to be the next superstar, and he wasn't. And loads of players. Yeah, I agree. It's in levels, right? So when you're at the top of the league, you realise, oh my god, what happened? What was I cheering on 3 or 4 seasons ago?
Yeah. Garbage, quite literally. But you love. Yeah, you were like, when Joe Allen was playing for us, and I was like, yeah, look, Joe Allen, he's a bargain. He's great. No, he's shit.
Wasn't he the Welsh Perlo?
He's rubbish. Huh?
Wasn't he the Welsh Perlo?
Yeah, but then wasn't Calvin Phillips the Yorkshire Polo or something? So what is it?
Yeah.
We just basically what Perlo must be fuming.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt, mate. There was periods of time when I used to call El Neni. He played like Perlo, the Egyptian Perlo, mate. But I think when your team's not performing that well, you try and hold on to any sort of thing.
Potential. Yeah,
yes,
I agree. That's what I think about United. It's like, again, I don't want to bash United too much. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to. But they're just terrible. Like everything is wrong. Everything. Like the way they play football since Ten Hag has been manager, I have never seen, and admittedly I don't watch them every week, I've never seen two goals they've scored and they look the same. And I'm like, that's how they score goals. They're trying to do that. Nope. They just hit the ball. Fernandes will do something, or Garnacho will skin someone and run through.
Yeah, so they're relying on kind of little individual bits of brilliance within a game in order to do something, rather than a game plan or like a formation or a tactic. It's very much that.
What it feels like to me, for sure, absolutely. Yeah. That's what it looks like to me from the outside, and I'm just like, and they then buy players that aren't like De Ligt, right? So, what? I mean, I'm not a Man United expert. What's his job then in the Man United formation and strategy? I don't know. They just bought him because he's a good defender and he wasn't playing at Bayern.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he may be solid. I think if United can keep a back five, then like a fit back five, which they can't because Luke Shaw's already out. They need to get a left back in. But if they can keep that solid base, I think they'll do much better this season. But they'll be in the sign that they'll still probably have like a +3 or 4, maybe under a +10 goal difference. But they would have conceded so many less. But obviously they just can't. I don't see someone scoring 15, 20 goals this season for them.
No, because Garnacho's not going to do it. Højlund isn't going to do it. Rashford definitely isn't going to do it anymore. And
Bruno, they may get 15 penalties, so Bruno might do it. But
there you go. Yeah, he probably will. 15 penalties and free kicks. He'll probably score over 15. People on the internet have been touting him to have his best season ever this season, and I'm going to tout him to have his worst season ever. Personally. I cannot see.
I'll clip that up and I'll tag all the Man United people in that one. But no, it'd be interesting. So, one thing. Speaking of Man United's back five, I was watching the Charity Shield and Onana, and he did it against Arsenal in the pre-season friendly when we had the penalty shootout with them. I don't understand. Maybe he's just doing this. Just so, at like the end of the season, maybe they get into like a cup final and it's got a penalty shootout, and he'll do the same thing again, but he won't he'll just stand there because it's the most ridiculous thing ever. He shows the player, and then before the player's taken the shot, he starts running to the other side to try and like do the dive. The player's just seeing him running to his right, and he's like, "Okay, I'll put it to your left."
There's a reason that none of the other world-class, amazing goalies in the whole history of football that's been like over 100 years of the game, like there's a reason why most keepers don't do that, isn't there? It's
Yeah.
sometimes it's like you're a genius for going out, breaking the mold and going off a different way. Yeah, not if it's something crap. That doesn't make it good just because no one else is doing it. It's like no, that's rubbish, mate. And honestly, you know that I don't rate him. I think Banana is one of the worst goalies in the Premier League. He is literally clueless.
Yeah, he's definitely not as good as Man United fans tout him at. I wouldn't say one of the worst, but definitely not as good.
I'd rather have any other goalie that resides in the top 10 clubs in the Premier League than Onana for Liverpool. I'd rather have
Yeah,
your goalie, Arsenal goalie, City's goalie, West Ham's goalie, Tottenham's goalie, Newcastle's goalie, Villa's goalie, Chelsea's goalie, Brighton's goalie, maybe not Brentford's, maybe not Palace's, maybe not Fulham's,
I think
Everton's, even though I don't
Brentford has got a half
know
decent keeper. They got the Dutch keeper,
who's
Rackham.
that. Brentford,
Yeah, or is that
Fulham.
Brighton have got him? No, I think Brentford
Brighton.
have got a half decent keeper.
I think so too, but I can't remember who it is. But all I know is that's a lot of keepers I'd have ahead of Onana.
Yeah, good with his feet though, mate. Can do 200 passes in a game to his back four. So
Sweet.
that's
So's Johnny Evans. Play him in goal then.
yeah. Oh,
Scott
Johnny Evans.
McTominay.
They'll
He's
need,
probably
they'll
one.
need some way of keeping him in the team.
Yeah, well, he just signed a new deal, didn't he?
Oh, did he have an extension? Did he?
Yeah, believe so. Oh,
Speaking
Johnny
of
Evans.
extensions, what a crazy extension for Cole Palmer. This guy is now he's on easy street for the rest of his career. 9-year contract, unreal.
It's insane. It is unreal. I mean, he's a very good player, but I don't think any player, even Messi or Ronaldo, deserve, like in their pomp, deserve a 9-year contract or like a 12-year contract, something stupid like that. No, because you can't. Well, I suppose it's on the risk of the club, innit? I was going to say you can't do that. It's just mental. But also, you want to invest that much into a player, then fine. But it is risky, very risky.
Yeah, yeah, you really are. You really are banking that he will not be injured for the next 5 or 6 seasons, or have
Yeah.
anything like majorly go wrong. We've had a chat about some transfers that are going on. I think those transfers will rapidly go up in the next couple of weeks. I think there'll be some really big transfers, which I'm looking forward to. But I think that what we're going to do for this podcast is start the Premier League in tomorrow? No, sorry, in 2 days. We're filming on the Wednesday, so Premier League kicks off again. Man United versus Fulham. Very much looking forward to the Premier League coming back on. For this podcast, we should pretend that we know what we're talking about and give our predictions for the season. We didn't think we'd go through the whole of the Premier League table because, let's face it, mid-table is, it's much muchness whether someone finishes 14th or 11th, right? There's not much change. So what we're going to do today, me and Leon have put together our predictions for firstly the top 8, and then we're going to go through the bottom 3, and then we're going to talk about some other predictions as well. So Leon, I'm going to hand over to you, mate. I'm going to show the audience your predictions for the top 8, and let me know, talk through it. It'd be interesting. I've got some questions. One major question, but yeah, I've got some questions. See kind of what your thought patterns were around this.
Sure. Okay.
So here we are, Leon's predictions for the top 8. So glad to see you've gone Arsenal first over Man City. What were your thoughts there?
So my actual thoughts of why I put Arsenal there are that's not what I want, but it'd be the second thing I want.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd want Liverpool to win the title, but I think with Arne Slot and all that, I mean, it's going to be difficult to just transition to title winners, especially with the way that Arsenal have progressed over the last 3 seasons, and Man City have just continued to be a juggernaut. I think this title again will be won, even though I know that City got like 90 something points, 91 points or something last season, didn't they? Or 90?
It was 90, yeah, 90 and 89. They won it by a point.
Yeah, and so I think it'll be sort of lower, so like 85, 86, 87 points that wins the title this season, or would have won the title, as in if Arsenal finished top of 100 points, it's not that you needed 100 points to win the title. If Man City were on 81, you needed 82.
Yeah.
Basically. So I think that's what will happen. I think this is the last chance that someone has, or maybe the greatest chance rather than the last chance, that Arsenal have of winning the title whilst Man City exists in the Premier League. Like right now, because charges, Liverpool in transition, Man United are shambles, Tottenham, and Chelsea are shambles. It's basically between Arsenal and City. And it's like that season, not exactly, but it's like that season when Leicester won the title. Obviously, it's much better. It's like Leicester and Tottenham. It's like Arsenal and City. It's like that is it, sort of thing. There's a few people that could nip at the heels, but not really. Like Man United aren't going to win the league. I'll go out there, you can clip it up, put it out there, they're not going to win the league. Same as Chelsea. Chelsea, United and Tottenham are not going to win the Premier League next season, 100%. There's no equivocation.
Yeah, so I see you haven't put Chelsea in your top 8. You think it's going to be another season of transition?
I just think that while they are like quite literally the sort of like, I don't know, this is maybe insulting, I don't really know, but they're sort of like the Dr. Bernardos of like football clubs. So they just take in all the clothes from everywhere and then just like, yeah, look at us, we've got loads of clothes. And then obviously that's an analogy for we're just taking in all the players. Not buying anyone of quality or substance, just buying all of them. Just loads of players. And so that's never worked on Champ Manager. And so it can't work in real life. Like if it doesn't work on a video.
It is a bit Champ Man-ish. Like they've gone and scouted. And they've set the scout to only look at under 23s that have got good like stats, but really they're not great players.
They're not. Like, well, again, I don't want to be insulting to those players because I don't know them all and know how good they are. So I'm sure they're brilliant players, but at the same time, Chelsea are a football club that basically you went through this where Arsenal were the big dogs in London, and then for about a 10, 15 year period, Chelsea became like the big dogs. And that is not the actions of we're the big dogs. That is the actions of we're going to sign more worse players than West Ham and Tottenham will. That's like we're the 4th best club in London.
That's what that says to me. I get what you mean. I don't think they're going to be challenging the kind of the title or top 4, but and I think when you see where I put them, like I think I put them 6th. I think that would be a far distance away from there, and I think that would probably be more of a late surge. They've got there's so much you can't gel a team. They've got a new manager. They've got a new first team. You know, it's a constant change. So I put them in my top 8, but I don't think they're going to be touching the title race this season.
I don't think so either, and I think that the main reason why I think that Chelsea won't do this is that their manager will be sacked by Christmas. He's already gone by October probably. Like it just doesn't matter. Like he'll just because that's what they do. They just go well we're not doing so well. Don't worry about the fact we bought 20 players this season and they're all not up to snuff just yet. It must be the manager. So we'll bring Mourinho in for 6 months or something stupid like that. And
that was a real surprise for me last season was that they got rid of Pochettino. Like they finished really strongly, and you felt that maybe that's a bit worrying because they started to gel, and then we're going to get rid of our manager, bring in a new one. He's going to bring in players, like that he knows,
Yeah.
and it's going to take a long time to gel again. I tell you, I think it will set that their first game of the season is at home to Man City. That's going to set the tone, I think, for their season. If they somehow manage to beat Man City, then I think they might have a good season. But if they get destroyed by Man City, I think that might be a different thing
I'm
altogether.
calling it right now. 5-1 City. Something massive like
A
that.
bold statement.
Yeah, I think Chelsea have got a hard start to the league as well, and I think that will put the pressure on the manager quite a lot.
Yeah,
Because if he's seventh after 10 games and 10 points off of the top four, Chelsea are not going to be happy. And they can't be after spending £250 million again on like a million players. You can't be like that. But so I'll describe my top eight anyway. I'll condense it a bit down because otherwise I'll talk and talk and talk and talk. But basically, I think Arsenal win the league. It's their biggest chance. I want them I want somebody else to win the league. This is a good chance of winning it, especially with all the crap around Man City and the charges. It's good. It's going to be a good thing, and I hope. I mean, I hope they drop out even more than that. I hope that they get 50 points deducted and that they end up getting relegated, but they won't, and that's not going to happen. Then Liverpool, I just don't think any other club in the top 8, top 10 are close enough to City or Arsenal, regardless of what they do in the transfer window. It's going to take at least another season for them to close that gap, at least that. Because we replaced our entire midfield last season and were leaps and bounds above the fourth, like Villa, really. And so, and I don't think Villa are going to repeat last season because I think they'll do the same thing that Newcastle do. The emotion, the effort in doing the Champions League is going to absolutely tank their league form. But they're good enough to finish, they'll win enough games to finish in Europe again. Funnily enough, I was debating between Man United and Chelsea for 8th because, again, this is going to get clipped up by loads of people. I actually think there's a chance that Man United are going to be in a relegation battle. I know that we've just talked about all these things and you're saying that they're going to be really good and Delict and all that. I actually think it's coming apart at the seams in a really big way. And it looks on the outside like it's getting better, but I actually think it's getting worse. That's my personal opinion.
I mean,
After
I can hope.
Well, after watching the Community Shield and City basically going, should we play all the reserves? Yeah, go on then, we'll play all the reserves. And then Man United being terrible against that team, that's not good. Like last time when Liverpool played against Man City and we won the Community Shield, right? They didn't play that. They didn't play Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis and all the boys. They played a team. Right? Like the same as we played a bit of a team. Like, as in, both of us are going for this because it's almost like this is the first marker you lay down. And Man United's marker was with the first shot on target against a reserve team, we'll score. And then, as we talked about earlier, Banana will lose the penalty shootout for us. Quality mentality, quality team. I'll just mention. Go on.
No, I was going to say, Leon, you haven't really mentioned it, but the team that you put in 4th, West Ham. Give me some background why you think West Ham are going to get Champions League.
So, the reason I've put West Ham 4th is a couple of things. First is I think Lopetegui's going to come good. I think he's a good manager tactically, and I think he was let down a little bit at Wolves, and I think he's going to come good with a team that's already good, and they've added great or really good players. So their strike force is arguably, I'm just looking at my league predictions, funny enough, arguably probably the 4th or 5th best attack in the Premier League.
Yeah, they've got a very good strike force.
Like Fulkrug, I think I'm tipping him now to score more than 15 Premier League goals in his opening season for West Ham. I think he is. I actually am disappointed Liverpool didn't buy him. I actually think he's unbelievable. I think he's really, really, really good. He mixes old school with new school in a really, really unique way. Got an amazing first touch. Dennis Bergkamp-esque first touch. Like, crazy good. And he's not as good as Bergkamp in that way. Um, but he combines that touch with Alan Shearer. That's who he is. Banging finisher, likes to drill everything, good in the air, powerful, holds up the ball fantastically well. And I think that's going to help West Ham out a lot. And I really think Bowen is going to flourish from having him there rather than all these other strikers that he's had, which have been like Miguel Antonio, right? And he's been a stopgap. But Bowen's played well off of him because he's a run into the channel sort of guy. I just think they've got a really good attack. If they keep Lucas Paquetá and they've added Wan-Bissaka, Max Kilman, and there's one other defender that they've added. And I just think that with everybody, all the other teams around them, Tottenham are going to do the normal Tottenham and think they're better than they are, and that will make them come unstuck at certain points in the season. And so I just don't think they'll make it. However, they've got a chance. Newcastle don't have the pressure of Europe, well, at least Champions League. And so I think they'll do better, but I just don't think they've added enough quality to their team, and I think they're quite middle of the road. Villa, I think, will suffer because of the Champions League, and Man United and Chelsea will scrap it out for what's left. And so I think in the same way that I said that Arsenal have got a really unique opportunity here, I think West Ham have got a really good, unique opportunity to sneak into a high European place. And for me, I think they'll just nick top four, basically.
That's good. That's good. I mean, yeah, I think West Ham are a good side, and no Europe this season. Obviously, had that distraction last season. I think definitely could be that. I don't think top four. I mean, this is my prediction. So again, I've gone Arsenal to win the league. I just think we've been building. I would love to see us maybe get an attacking player coming in, maybe to freshen up that attack. Maybe someone that can play either wing or up front in different games, maybe a different profile to Havertz. Man City, I'm in an R in whether to put United in front of City. So I have a different view. I think United have actually sorted out the issue that just bogged them down last season of being so open and such a poor defence. I think they brought in De Ligt. I think he's going to be a really good player in the Premier League. He seems like he's strong, he's quick. He's got a good footballing brain. Man United could ruin him because that's what they like to do, but I think he's going to be good. I put Liverpool fourth. I think they may struggle. I don't think they will be challenging for the league, but I definitely don't think they're going to be struggling. I think this season is going to be much more of a cut and dry top four. I don't think there's going to be that jeopardy towards with 5 or 6 games to go. Who's going to get that fourth place? I think Liverpool should cement it. They have a very good team. The only concern I have for them is that they've lost Klopp. I've seen what happens everyone sees what's happened when you have a really long-standing manager that's massively, like, some could say, like last season, he overachieved with the players that he had. And I think, Liverpool going fourth. Newcastle, no Europe this season. They have a good kind of like spine to their team. Not that many changes. I think Eddie Howe can get him into fifth. Chelsea I've got as sixth, but really I've got Chelsea like last season. I think they're going to take 2/3 of the season to try and gel, and then I think they're gonna get good at the end of the season itself. Spurs 7th and Villa 8th. I think with the new Champions League format, there's some extra games in those group stages. There's going to be lots of more harder games as well. So, traditionally, I know Newcastle had a hard group last season, but you're pretty unlucky if you get 3 other good teams in your group in the Champions League. So you're playing constantly. Yeah. Whereas I think Villa, with this new format, I think, is it 8 games, or 6 games
think
you play. It's going to be a bit longer, a bit harder for them to adapt. But I wouldn't be surprised if kind of 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th change place. But yeah, I definitely think that's it's almost reverted back to more of a traditional top 4 kind of. I don't think there's going to be many surprises there. I haven't got West Ham anywhere near it, but I do think West Ham do have a good chance of maybe hitting that 8th spot, maybe getting a cup, maybe the Carabao Cup, because they do have a very good first team, I think. If they didn't have if they didn't have Paqueta getting done for all his gambling, I think I would definitely have put them in the top 8 this season.
It just depends, doesn't it? It's one of those things where the first 10 games of next season, I know it's always this, but even more so this season coming up, the first 10 games are like super important. Like for all those clubs we've mentioned. Like even more so than normal. Like Chelsea have to get off to a flyer. Liverpool have to get off to a flyer. Arsenal don't have to get off to a flyer, but cannot lose. Same for and City, maybe not. Maybe there's no jeopardy. When you've got a blank check and all the money in the world, maybe it doesn't matter if you don't win 5 in a row. Like
I mean, the reason I was umming and ahhing about whether actually I was going to put Man City 3rd, I think the distraction of the court case, and that's happening. I think they brought it forward to September, so that's going to be September, October, November. It's going to be a lot of distraction going on in the club. I think that's going to really affect their start to their season. So much so, I think they're not going to be kind of 5 or 6 points away from the top. I think they're more likely going to be like 10, 12 points away from the top after maybe the first half of the season. And I think that's just going to be too much for them to then challenge to catch Arsenal. And I think Man United might be able to take advantage of that, but I couldn't bring myself to bring Man United top 2, so that's why I put them in at 3rd. So next we're going to have a look at... Sorry, mate.
No, I was just saying Man United have got a really, really tough opening 10 games. They've got to play like Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Liverpool and Villa, I think.
Yeah. 1 second, sorry.
Yeah.
Stop licking, mate. Jeez. My dog is licking hard. Alright, so next we'll go on to the bottom 3. So let's put both our bottom 3s here and we'll just talk about it. I think we've got a few that are the same, but straight away. So your bottom 3 are Bournemouth, Leicester and Ipswich. I've gone with Southampton, Leicester and Nottingham Forest. Both got Leicester. I think for me it was just they don't seem to have bought anyone, and
they haven't.
They've lost their best midfielder in Dewsbury Hall. I don't really know how they're going to stay up with that squad. Jamie Vardy's still there, but my God, he must be about to cash his pension check in, and I think they're a shoo-in.
I agree. They're also getting points deducted, basically. Like these are all done. I know both of us talked about it before, but they're all done with points deductions not taken into account. But Leicester are almost certainly going to get a 10, 12 point deduction because of failing to meet the financial regulations over the last 2 seasons because of the way they got relegated.
Yes.
So that's why they haven't made any signings, because they're basically screwed.
Yeah, you've got Bournemouth in there. I'm surprised about that. I mean, I think their manager is very good. I think I think he makes them play well. Yeah, they've just lost Solanke, so where the goals are going. But was that the main reason? What was the reason for the 3rd place Bournemouth?
So there are 2 reasons. I believe that Lewis Cook has gone or going, and their main striker, who played basically every game last season, isn't there, and he scored all their goals.
They've lost Kiefer Moore, they've lost Solanke in their attack.
Maybe they didn't. Yeah, Cook's a defender. I saw he was going. So maybe he plays for Nottingham Forest. I don't know why. I tend to get Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth confused. But so it was actually, if I was to show you the two teams above, in my predictions of like when I wrote down what I think the league table will be, I'll just briefly just describe all mine. Ipswich, I think they're a League One side with a great manager, so I think they'll come unstuck. Again, I'll go out on a limb here and say they'll set the record for the lowest amount of points collected in the Premier League season ever.
Okay. Beat
Leicester,
the Derby.
yeah, I think they'll get like 6 or 7 points. Ipswich, Leicester, uh, depending on points deduction, might actually finish bottom, but like that all the reasons you just said. And Bournemouth is mostly because of no goal scorer, and when it's that nip tuck at the bottom of the league, it generally matters if you've got a striker who scores loads. Mitrovic did it for years for Fulham, like
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And the two teams above it are Nottingham Forest and Southampton. Southampton is because I'm from Southampton. My dad supports them, and I've got a bias. Hey, and I've got a bias of Southampton. So I sort of want them to, I sort of want them to stay up, and they play the football that is designed to keep you in the Premier League and be successful there. It's just whether or not they make this season. That's my sort
Yeah.
of feelings around.
I
Like
love
you said.
obviously I love Southampton. Went to university there. Love Theo. Love the Ox. They gave us them. But yeah, I just feel that again they've not really done much in the market. I think they kind of overachieved last season to get into the Premier League in the first place. Like, edging out some decent sides that were there. For me, yeah, and Nottingham Forest for me, I think they've been in the Premier League maybe one season too long already. They need to go down now.
What about their manager? Do you think though, because they've got Nuno as the manager, who knows how to have done that with Wolves, who had, let's be honest, quite a poor side for a while when he was there.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I couldn't think. I couldn't think of anyone. I tried to I tried not to have all the promoted sides, and the reason I haven't got Ipswich in there, they got Amari Hutchinson, I think, who I really rate is a really good wing forward. They've got a really good manager, and they seem to have quite a good bond as a team. Probably overachieved to get into the Prem, but I think that might carry them. That spirit might carry them to kind of 15th or 16th in the league. Especially when you've got those.
To me,
they've got a Burnley vibe, have they?
the smell of Burnley on them,
Yeah.
like their manager has got a style of playing that works and probably will work in the Premier League if he had a good team, and he's going to stick with it, and he's going to lose 8-0 to Man City, and he's going to lose 7-0 to Arsenal, and everyone's going to be going, why isn't he playing long ball now? And then some people will be going, yeah, but you got to stick to your tactics. That is the conversation I think that's going to happen around Ipswich all season until they finally get relegated. Personal. But you're right, as in they got a really good manager. He's got really good credentials. He's got good potential. Potential.
All right. I think
Don't know much about
next one we're going to go is top goal scorer. I think less said about this. I think both Haaland. I think he's going to get the majority of Man City's goals. I don't really see anyone in that top four. Maybe outside of Liverpool with Salah, but then even Liverpool share their goals a bit more around, kind of doing that. Unless you get maybe an Ollie Watkins has another season like he had last season, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So nailed on top goal
basically
scorer, Haaland.
Yeah. Isak. Honourable mention for Isak from Newcastle. He might do a sort of Alan Shearer-esque thing where Newcastle aren't that good really. They're all right, but he scores loads of goals because he's always injured. So I don't know.
Yeah, Isak's a great shout, but I don't think he's going to play enough games to challenge Haaland.
No,
Right,
agreed.
we've got player of the season, mate. Apologies for my the screen. I've taken out the N of Bowen, but you've gone Bowen. I've gone Saka, and I completely know why you've gone Bowen, because you put West Ham at fourth, and if West Ham get fourth, it's probably going to be a lot to do with with Bowen. I'm sure Danny Dyer's going to be very happy that you've gone with
Yeah.
with, uh, with Bowen there. But I've gone Saka. I think if Arsenal are going to win the league this season, it's going to take Saka being to his very best. And I think normally for me, like, just because this is normally the way people give player of the season, they generally give it to someone within the champions. Like,
Yeah.
like last season they gave it to Foden. If Foden wasn't in Man City and did the same thing, I think you'd then say, why would you not give it to Watkins or Cole Palmer? Because they probably objectively did better than that.
Yeah. Potentially. Yeah, I know what you're saying. And also, like, the sort of like 5 seasons before that, it was like Kevin De Bruyne every time on it. So, like, basically. So,
Right, the next one is it's breakout player of the season, and this isn't just like, oh, they're new to the to the league or anything like that. It's just who's going to have that season that you go, wow. Like Ollie Watkins had last season. You knew he was a good player, but then suddenly he just shot off. Or Solanke had last season. So,
yeah.
breakout player, you've gone Elliott, and I've gone Smith Rowe. So, why do you think Elliott will be that breakout season? Do you think he'll get the game time at Liverpool to get that?
So, interestingly, we've both gone for the very same type of player.
Yeah.
Like, they both like to get on the ball, both like a shot, both like to dribble, love an assist. 10s, right? Maybe that shows a lot about us, I suppose. We love the creativity in goals. But basically, I think that looking at pre-season and knowing a bit about Arne Slot, I think Harvey Elliott will... He played a lot last season, and I think now he's going to play the same amount, but in a 10 rather than in an 8. And I think that is where he is best. And I think it could be completely wrong, but I actually think he's going to have... I think he'll be in the England team, not starting or anything like that, because you've got fucking Foden and Cole Palmer and every 10 on the planet. But I think he'll be in that conversation by the end of the season. That's how I think he's going to have such a good season. Like, score 10 goals and get like 8 assists or something. So, like an Odegaard type season, but not as good as Odegaard. Like our Odegaard. I actually think that's what
he's gonna stand up and say, yeah, this is a season I'm going to prove that I am one of the better players in the Premier League. Same reason for me for Smith Rowe. I think he's gonna have a season. Well, a touch wood, he doesn't get injured, but I don't think he's particularly injury prone. I think he just had that single injury that then caused him to be in and out of the team. And then when you're in and out of a team, you get those little niggles, you get those little strains that then put him out a bit longer. He's had a great pre-season, already scored twice for Fulham in their pre-season. And I think he could really kind of prove himself to be a Premier League level number 10. In my eyes.
I actually rate your shout higher than my own. Like, I've got a soft spot for Smith Rowe. I know you do because you're an Arsenal fan, but I actually think it was a massive mistake selling him.
Well, I love Smith Rowe. He's one of my favourite players. So, and it's upsetting. I think I said last podcast, it's going to be, if Arsenal do win the league, it'll be a bit sad not to see Smith Rowe and Saka dancing to the crowd with the tune of Emil Smith Rowe and Saka and Emil Smith Rowe playing. So next one is a bit. Sorry, mate.
I think he'll do well. I agree.
Yeah, I think he will do very well. I think he's got a good manager in the Fulham manager who's attacking, likes to play football. I think that will really suit him, and I think also it will suit him to be that main man in that team, the person that's going to have to drive forward for them. The next one's a bit harsh because it probably it's not a flop of the season, but someone we don't expect to really achieve on the hype that they will be given. So you've gone with De Ligt, and I've gone for Solanke, and for me, Solanke is not a £65 million player, so it's really harsh on him to judge him as a £65 million player. But if he's a £65 million player and he doesn't go into, late teens, early 20s in goals scored for Tottenham next season, then I think that's flopped. And I would say that he was more likely to revert back to his previous seasons where he gets 8 to 10 goals in that season, for me. And maybe it's just I'm hoping he'll flop, but that's my one. You gone for De Ligt? Why do you think De Ligt might flop?
So there's two reasons I think De Ligt will flop. One is he hasn't played for ages at Bayern Munich and he's going to be shook for confidence. So much so that Eric Dyer was on loan from Spurs and couldn't get in the Spurs team and is starting ahead of him for Bayern. I have a sneaking suspicion that if he's not as good a defender as Eric Dyer, that's concerning. And if he's not as good on the ball as Eric Dyer, that's even more concerning. Man United have spent a decent chunk of money on him. It'll be like it's the homecoming, Ten Hag's little baby De Ligt. He used to be captain at Ajax. This is going to be great. And all I can base it on is historical performance, as in last time he got his man in Anthony, look what happened. I think it'll be the same with De Ligt. It's a poisoned club that they're not signing or doing what I think is the correct thing. And I'm not the mastermind of football, but they need to get back to the core of what Man United is. Youth, bringing up their own youth and buying exciting attacking talent. Because I don't remember a time, except for Yap Stam, really, where Man United went all out and bought a world-class established defender. When Fergie was there, sorry?
Rio Ferdinand back in the day.
But he was,
looking back in the day.
And he was really young when they got him, 21, 22, something like that, wasn't he? 23 maybe?
23, I think he
was. From Leeds? Was it from Leeds? They bought him from Leeds, didn't they? So, I don't know. And again, maybe in the same way that you're hoping that Solanke fails, I'm hoping that De Ligt fails, as in, not in a mean way, but I don't like Man United, so
yeah.
I want them
because I get what you mean. If De Ligt goes from flop of the season to player of the season contender, Man United are going to do very well this season.
If he's the player of the season, they've won the league or finished second, don't they? That's what that is, and won both the cups, something like that. And that's not going to happen.
All right, next one is, if I can remember, underachiever. I think we both went for the same one. And I think I spelt achiever wrong, so maybe it's I'm the underachiever. But there's my dyslexia going. We've both gone for Spurs. I mean, really, I don't know. I just like to go for Spurs, to be honest. But I think with the hype that their fan base give them, they should be easily in that top four, and I don't think they'll be anywhere near in terms of points to that top four.
Basically pretty much the same. I think if you are the team spending £65 million on a new striker and you have done really well and had all of the hype from last season of you remember, I mean, as an Arsenal fan you must have heard it loads, which is Ange Postecoglou is basically the second coming of Christ. And so if that's the case, then this is his second season and you've got a £65 million striker, you must be winning the league or right up there then. And I don't think they will be.
If you listen to their fans and pundits, they've also had the best goalkeeper in the league, the best two central defenders in the league, the best left back in the league. Who else did they? The best number 10 in the league with James Maddison, and the best forward in the league with Son. So they should be winning the league. So if they don't, it's underachievement in my eyes.
No, I sort of agree. Basically with all of that, they are setting themselves up in a way where it's we are it, and if you are not it, then unlucky. You have underachieved, haven't you? It's quite simple. I'm not saying they have to win the league. If they finished in the top four, maybe actually the top three, because I remember as a Liverpool fan last season, Spurs fans starting to think they're better than Liverpool. And I was maybe you've misread something. Like, because basically again, from my perspective, Tottenham are basically an all-out gung-ho attack team now,
Yeah.
like under Ange Postecoglou. And you have to be Real Madrid to do that. Maybe they think they are. And that's all I can say on it. And then Real Madrid win leagues and Champions Leagues. So we'll see.
Next we've got overachievers. So mine's West Ham. No, sorry, yours is West Ham, and mine's Ipswich. I think if Ipswich achieve, like, I don't think they're going to get relegated. So I think if they achieve anything 17th or above, I think they'll overachieve this season, and I think that they'll be the one that overachievers. And of course, you've gone West Ham because you believe that they're going to finish fourth. So that's definitely overachieving.
If Ipswich do what you're saying they're going to do, I will concede, not just to the fact that will be the best achievement of, like, close to Leicester winning the league, like, because it's a League One side with, like, a young manager with, like, one or two players that we've even heard of.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'll be a massive achievement. I think they will. But also, I think coupled with that, I think with obviously Leicester getting points deduction, I think Everton up for another points deduction as well. That might push them down. I think there'd be Southampton not buying anyone. Nottingham Forest really should have been out of the league last season. So I think they might be there. But the next one. Sorry, mate.
Saints bought a few players. They bought two 23-year-old Brazilians from Sao Paulo who are worth, like, they've free transfers, but they're worth like 20-30 million each. They bought the young centre back from Man City for 25 million, and they bought one other player, and I can't remember who he is. But the Brazilians are probably going to be.
They bought some players, of course. Let me have a look. But the fact is, they bought back Adam Lallana.
So.
That Taylor Harwood Bellis. But
yeah,
that's Man City's cheat code. They managed to sell a player that's never played in the Premier League for 25 million. It's like, that's crazy. I still think they're going to struggle. I think their team probably wasn't good enough to go up, and now they're in the league. But then you say the same with Ipswich.
I think the same for both of them. Like, I actually think, like, in my heart of hearts, probably all three promoted teams are going to get relegated. But like you said, it's sort of boring or like pedestrian to just go, well, them three.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to put. Both of us didn't want to put the three promoted sides back in the bottom four.
Yeah, but I also put Brentford right in my original predictions. I thought I'd just bring this up. I put Brentford at 11th, but actually, I think they have a really big chance of being relegated, of everything going wrong, because if they lose Ivan Toney, they're basically screwed.
Yeah, because they've already lost their striker that they replaced him with for long term
until next year. Yeah. So, and I think who will get, and also the other guy, Mbeumo, that both those players, Ivan Toney and him, might leave, and if they leave, I don't know if Brentford have got enough to stay up. Actually,
yeah, I just think they've got enough because Thomas Frank's a decent manager, and he also has they have the experience.
Yeah, that's what swayed me in my head. It was like Frank is good.
The next one, the next prediction is it's our guarantees. So your guarantee is that Spurs will not win a trophy. Can't argue with that. My guarantee is that Ten Hag will moan about losing to Arsenal. He will go on about it for the entire season, just like last season. He still brings up the fact that Garnacho wasn't offside, and that Rice fouled someone in the goal. But yeah, so that's our predictions. I'll be interested to see when we look at this, maybe halfway through the season and towards the end, how much of our predictions are going on. But yeah, I think your guarantee of the season, mate, is a great guarantee of the season, and I think 100% that will be the case.
Proven track record, mate, of like not winning trophies, like the perennial bridesmaid. In fact, I think that's too kind to Spurs. They're just like the perennial ushers at a wedding. Like that's it. They're like, do you know what? You're not good enough to even get to the final.
Do you know what they are? They're the perennial. You've just been invited to the evening do. If we're using the wedding analogies. So
Slipped you a cheeky invite to the disco.
yeah. We don't like you enough for the actual main event, so we'll invite you to the evening.
I want to see your face actually, but we will.
One thing we didn't predict actually. So maybe we can just off the top of your head, Leon. Cups. Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think's going to win the cups?
So Unai Emery, for some reason, will win one of them cups. So Villa, like feels like that. But the problem is, like with the 3 promoted teams getting relegated, it's almost like difficult to not say, well, City.
Yeah. I think City. I think Liverpool will win not the Carling Cup. What is it now? Carabao Cup. And I think Arsenal will win the FA Cup. I think they might do the double this season.
Yeah, sticking to the old tropes. Arsenal's FA Cup, Liverpool's League Cup. It's not a bad shout. I think that Villa will win one and City will win the other one. Don't know which one's which. Let's say City win the Carabao Cup, Villa win the FA Cup.
Yeah, it's hard to look past City for the Carabao Cup because they have such a deep squad. It's not massive, but they can go out and play, 6 or 7 of their non-starting 11, and it's still a very good team.
It's still a Premier League winning team.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's definitely a top 4 team, right? As soon as they go.
100%. Yeah. Ridiculous. So that's what I think.
Perfect,
Maybe
mate.
Chelsea.
Well, do you reckon Chelsea? Maybe. They've got enough first teams.
They got a good enough team to click on random occasions, and cup games are random occasions.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to change. Go Villa and Chelsea. Villa and Chelsea. They're my picks. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, Man United won the Carabao Cup a couple of seasons ago, and they played like non-Premier League sides all the way up to Newcastle in the final. So, it's the luck of the draw, really, especially that Carabao, because there are it's not that many rounds before you get to those semis, and if you get a decent side in the semi, you've got a chance.
You're cushy, yeah, agree.
Right, Leon, that was a pleasure, mate. I enjoyed our predictions. It'd be interesting to see how they come about.
Me too.
But, the best prediction I think on here is your guarantee of the season with Spurs not winning a trophy. So
the only one that will come definitely true, like 100%. Like there's no equivocation. Like I said to you before this, I was going to put Everton, but that's like stupid. That's like saying we need oxygen to breathe. Like that's too much of a guarantee. It almost becomes like jinxing it, not a guarantee. But Spurs are like definitely not going to win anything. That's fine. Like so are Everton. Everton aren't winning shit. But at the same time, Tottenham like definitely not. Definitely.
Oh wait a minute, where are Tottenham in the? Are they in the Conference League?
Let me stop you there. They won't win it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, they didn't even win the Audi Cup this season, did they? So, they're definitely not even going there.
They don't win stuff. They just... Harry Kane left, and just because he played for Spurs, Bayern Munich lost everything.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know. There's something about clubs like Real Madrid get this like extra ability to just win stuff when they're crap, and Tottenham are like the opposite. They're like they won't win stuff even if they are amazing.
Yeah, it's like the Chicago, was it the Chicago Cubs that had the curse put on them and they couldn't win the World Series for 100 odd years. Tottenham are still
Yeah, I
in that
think so.
curse stage.
Yeah, and no one put it on them. That's the funny thing.
Put it on themselves, mate. Put it on themselves.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, man.
Right, mate. Let's. I think that's. Unless you got anything else, I think we can call it a wrap. I very much enjoyed our predictions show. Let us know.
Mm.
Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know what your predictions are in the chat. Leave a comment. As always, if you wanna help and support us, click on that subscribe button on YouTube or follow us on TikTok, and get to hear some ramblings from some old men that don't really know much about football but just love it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, please subscribe, have a look, like the video, all of that jazz. Everything else, it's been a pleasure. Enjoyed it, and We'll see you more right. Come on, you irons, I suppose.
Perfect, mate.